Hello, welcome. It's Samir again with one more Facebook Live, one more video in the series of videos that I'm doing talking about messenger bots. So I'm back, continuing the discussion, continuing the training. I'm here to teach you about how to build marketing messenger bots for your business. Even if you don't know technology stuff, even if you don't have any background in artificial intelligence or bots in general. So far what we have done is we have been talking about something called growth tools, how to the mechanisms through which we can drive people to Messenger and invite them to start talking with our bot, interacting with our bot. And there are many different mechanisms. Some of them are very similar. We will continue to explore them one by one. And that's what I'll continue in this video today. We saw a few. We looked at a bar or a ribbon on the top of the site that we can use. Then we talked about a slide-in widget. Now there are a few more variations of that, and we'll continue talking about that. And I'll teach you how to build those, how to create those, and use in your website and drive traffic to the Messenger bot. So once again, this is Samir from Chatbot Marketing Center. That's a small agency I own. I build messenger bots for businesses, and I'm here to teach you how to build messenger bots. So let me switch over to the screen sharing mode, and this is what we have been using so far. This is our familiar ManyChat interface. This is the ManyChat backend. This is what it looks like. And on the left hand side is the navigation. I'm going to go to the growth tools. And if you are joining live, please type in 1 in the comment. If you are catching up on replay, type 2 in the comment. Also say hello, and if you have any questions, drop them in the comment and I will respond to the questions. Some of the things you might have to refer to previous videos, because I am trying to, I do build upon the previous work that we have done, previous things that I have talked about. So sometimes things might be, if you're just catching up, if you recently started watching videos, then you might have to go back and pick up on some of the things. So this is something I just was doing, so let me clear that out. So as you can see, there are 4 growth tools. The navigation is on the left hand side. You go to the growth tools, it'll bring you to this window, and there are 4 tools here so far, but only top 2 are the ones that we have built. We have built step by step here, because few growth tools come pre-populated when you create a new ManyChat account. So you'll see that a list of growth tools will already be there. The top ones are the ones that we have created. I might as well go ahead and delete those to kind of remove any confusion what I'm talking about. So these are the 2 tools that I have kind of gone through step by step, and I've debugged and I've shown, that how to make them work, how to use all the features that are available with these 2 tools. So today I'll continue to explore the remaining options. As you can see, we have all these are the possible options. So there are 4 overlay widgets, 2 embeddable widgets, 6, and then there are 7 other ways. So there are 13, at least the way it's listed here, there are 13 possible ways of building growth tools or kind of creating mechanisms through which you can drive people to Messenger and then have the bot activate and start interacting with people. So we looked at the bar, we looked at the slide in, we are going to talk about the modal here. Now this is very similar, modal is very similar to bar and slide in. In fact, all four are very similar, modal and page takeover. They are very similar to bar and slide in. As you will see, it's just mostly it's the difference in appearance, how they appear on the site. That's the main difference. Other than that, how you create remains very similar for all of them. But I'm going to show you anyways that I'm going to go through the step-by-step process and I'm going to build one here. So I'm just selecting modal here. It brings us to this editor, or the area where you can edit and design the model. It has familiar 4 sections: initial state, submitted state, opt-in actions, and setup. Again, if I'm assuming you have some level of familiarity, I'll try to repeat some of the things here, but I don't want to keep repeating the same thing over and over again. Initial state lets you design the initial state of the model, how it looks initially. On the right hand side is the preview of the initial state. So it has a headline which you can edit right here. You can change the headline right here. I'm just kind of showing you how you can edit this, my free guide. Then there's an optional description. You can toggle this button here, either hide or show description, right? It depends. Sometimes you may want to hide and just have the headline, but I think the description could be helpful to kind of reinforce the message and not have like the headline which is too long, because the headline has bigger font, and if it's too long, then it might kind of might not be it might be hard to read a very long headline, right? So you don't want to have a big blob of huge text. So I recommend you use description that builds upon the headline, right? The description is okay. So the job of the headline is to stop the visitor and attract them, grab their attention, and make them read your headline, right? Or the title. You can say headline or title. I'm talking about this thing at the top here. The job of that headline or title is to grab their attention and make them read, or make them read and want to continue to read, right? So it should make them read and it should make them start reading the description. And the job of the description is to make visitors continue to read the description and then take action. Basically click the button. The purpose of this modal widget is to get people to click the button, right? The button that's right there. So keep that in mind, right? The title is grabbing their attention, making them start read the title, and then make them continue reading the description as well. And the description should again make them continue reading the description and then click on the button. There are 2 types of buttons. One is default. This is what I recommend to begin with. The other one is checkbox, where it's a 2-step button. The button is not active until and unless they check off this checkbox. Once they check off the checkbox, the button becomes active. The only upside of this other type of button is you can change the title of the button. The send me insights, you can change that. Send me, I can type it right, send me the guide, right? So with the checkbox, you can change that. But with send messenger, you are stuck with the default send to messenger title. So just for sake of it, let's excuse me, let's move with checkbox button today. So here are the colors: color of the background, button background, description, headline, and button text. You can modify all of that. The button size here, 3 sizes. I always recommend keeping the large size. Checkbox skin, it's the text of the checkbox instructions. The skin or the color should be in contrast to the background. So here it seems like we should keep light checkbox skin, because if I go dark, then it just blends. I don't even see anything, right? So light skin, image. So let me show you the image, because I did not show earlier. There's an option to place an image. So let me grab hold of an image. Okay, right here. There you go. That's the image. You can put an image. If you're using image, the function of the image to stop them, grab their attention, and invite them to read the title or the headline, right? So keep that in mind in choosing the image. It has to be relevant, right? You want to have a relevant image. There should be like a congruence and continuity. Basically, all of your messaging, the messaging through the image, messaging through the text, all of that should be relevant, and kind of all of them should be inviting them to the journey that you want them to take. Now, image placement you can change. It can be above headline, above description, which means below headline, or it could be below description, like that. I don't know, that's something you can test, but in my mind, I think the best way is to put it above the headline, because that's how we are used to in news articles and blog posts, in books. That's what we are used to, right? Like there is an image, and sometimes the image might be in the middle of the text, but at least in the beginning, the image is at the top, and then there is either the title, the headline, or the description of the image. So that's something you can test. Now, these are the 3 options. If you have watched any of the prior dynamic overlay videos, then you will know, but these are the mechanisms these are the parameters through which you can change when and how the dynamic widget is displayed. What happens if someone closes it, how frequently it is shown to the same person, and when does it start showing. So it's all kind of self-explanatory, you know. There's a person scroll, exit intent immediately. This is for testing purpose, so I always choose immediately, and I always choose always in the frequency, and what to do if the user closes. So once I'm done, I save, and then I'm gonna click next. Okay, so there you go. I just clicked next, and this is the submitted state. This is how the model looks like after they click the button. You can either update the message in the modal area itself. It can change the color, it can change the headline and everything, or you can redirect them to a new URL. You can enter the URL here. If you already have a thank you page where you have already set it up for the right kind of thank you message for those people who clicked on the send to messenger button, then you want to redirect them. Otherwise, show them the new message in the modal area itself. When you are kind of sending people to a different URL, you want to be careful, because sometimes you might lose them, right? If you're sending people to if you want to send people to a different URL, means different address, it might be, in such situations, it might be helpful if you just update the same URL update the new URL within the same tab. Rather than opening the new tab, update them within the same tab, update the address within the same tab. And at other times, it might make sense to keep the same tab open and send people to a new tab, right? So it really depends what the end goal you have in mind for the visitors to take. Which visitor action you have in your mind. What's the end goal, basically? And based on that, you come up with the scheme. But the tool provides you the flexibility. It says that, you can also either update the thank you message within the page and within the model itself, or you can send them somewhere else. You can design the components of the model, different colors. It's self-explanatory. You can add image. So let's just for sake of it, let me add that image one more time. It doesn't necessarily have to be the same image, right? It can be a different image. Only use image if it reinforces the message, if it's helpful along the journey, if it makes sense. You don't have to add image for sake of adding the image, right? Quite often the text itself will do the job, but image can reinforce the message sometimes. Image placement you can change. I'm going to save this now. I just saved it. And then I'm going to go next. Yeah, remember to save at each step. Although I think if you try to navigate away without saving, it'll prompt you whether you want to save it or not. So this is again something familiar. The opt-in message means people click the button, right? They click the send me the guide button. When they click that button, what happens? They are taken to, if they are new to your messenger, if this is the first time they are clicking on that button, then they'll be taken to the messenger app, to your messenger page, your business Facebook Messenger, and this is how it'll look like initially. They need to click the get started button. And once they click get started button, then they'll see the opt-in message right here, the third step, right? Then they'll see this message. You can edit the message right here by clicking this edit button. They'll take you to the message editor, but we will cover like how to edit. We already talked some in past videos, but we'll cover more in future videos. You can replace that. When you click replace, it will take you to this pop-up where it will list all the flows. Flows are conversations, strings of messages back and forth. That is a flow. It will take you to all existing flows that you have, and you can pick. So I created this one. It's called, what is it called? Unfortunately, once I pick, the name disappears, but let me select. So you select from the list, and it shows the preview, and then in the bottom right, there is a green button that I clicked, select the flow. And the name is overlay dynamic widget opt-in message. So I selected that. I'm going to click next. And so this is the preview, and here is our setup. This is the final step. You take the code from here and you set it up on your website. You have to install the JavaScript. When you click on that, it takes you to this pop-up. It has two-step, A and B, authorize website. Add your website name here, mywebsite.com, and click add. I already added it, so it's there. If you don't see in the list, then add. Otherwise, if it's already there, then you don't have to add again. Then click next. It'll take you to this area where you have the small JavaScript code. It needs to be put in the head section of your website, depending on which platform you're using. I'm using WordPress, so I'm showing you WordPress. You might use something else, but I think most of the platforms will give you a mechanism, a way for you to add the script into the head section of the website. Now the head section is per page, and ideally we need the JavaScript to be in the head section of each and every page of your website. So I copied that. Now I'm heading over to my WordPress backend. So this is the WordPress backend. This is the test page I already opened. But what I'm going to do is, so I'm using a plugin. It's something called, the plugin name is Add Func Head and Footer Code. You can search for Add Func Head and Footer or Add Func Head Footer in the plugin search, and you'll find that. But when you add that, when you activate that plugin, and the way you can actually use the plugin is going through settings, and under settings there is a head and footer code. I go there. There you go. This is the old. This is the script from the previous growth tools that I used. So I remove that and I added the new one, just making sure it's the right one. I kind of double check. I just kind of visually look at it. Yeah, that looks correct. So I'm going to save that. And so I didn't change any visibility settings yet. Remember, there are the visibility settings that we debugged in a couple of previous videos. Like I was running into problems. It allows you to change the visibility, or like you can either enable only a fixed number of pages, or you can disable a set of pages, a list of pages from your website. So let's first check whether the thing is available. So I'm going to the top left corner in my WordPress title, and I'm choosing visit site in new page. I'm opening the site on a new page. When I do that, I should see the modal firing, which I don't see. So that's great. Gives us an opportunity to debug this more. So let's go back and check what's happening. Can you tell? I think I figured out what's happening. So even after like spending a long time doing all this, I still make this mistake. I haven't activated it yet. So remember, that's the final step. It should be saved and it should be activated. So now it's active. I'm going to reload my home page, and now I expect to see the modal. There you go. Okay, so let's check other pages. So I'm in WordPress. I'm going to, on the left side there's navigation. I'm going to pages, all pages, and then I'm going to select my favorite test page. It's down here. I hover on that, it gives me options. I select view and open in new tab. I don't want to close that window because I want to be able to go back there. So this is the test page that we are using for this training. And very soon you'll see that we will have to edit the page to add buttons. But currently these are all dynamic widgets, so you don't have to change the page except for adding the JavaScript. And there you go. There you see now. Now I closed it. I just closed the modal, and I'm going to reload, and you'll see that it'll fire again because I have made it visible always. So anytime I visit this page, any page of the website, it'll keep firing. Okay, so there you go. I think that's pretty straightforward. It's very similar to the other ones. So what we can do now is, so I'm going to disable that because I was just showing as a test. I'm going to go and let's start let's start creating the last dynamic overlay type, and that is the page takeover. So I just clicked on the page takeover. It's identical. There is description, optional description, but as you can see in the preview here, this dynamic widget takes over the page. It'll blanket the whole page basically. So I'm not going to change anything. I'm just going to when does it display, I'm going to make immediately show widget to the same user. Again, after, I'm going to make it always keep showing it. If manually closed by a user, show after, I'm going to make it always because I'm testing this. You don't want to do that. You definitely want to think of, how often you want to show something, because if you show the widget too often to someone who hasn't taken action on the widget, then it might irritate them and they may not kind of continue back to your website. If you show it too infrequently, if you show it like less often, then people will not know that you have a growth tool, you have a messenger bot where you want to invite them, right? So that's the balance that you have to strike. Okay, so I'm going to go next. For some reason, the next I always have to click twice. I don't know what's going on. So here is the submitted state, like how the widget looks after people click on the button. As I said, this is a page takeover widget, means exactly similar in all other aspects except that how it appears on the website, on the web page, and this one takes over the page. So it blankets the page, it just hides everything else. It can be very effective, because when you blanket the page with only one button, then you are really kind of narrowing the choices for visitor. And if visitor is interested, then there are no other distractions, right? It takes care of distractions, but it might frustrate the visitor also, because visitor wants to be able to check what else you have, and visitor might find that why are you not letting me see other things? So you have to be careful with that, and I'll talk more about that in the next video. So then, when do you use this, right? Given what I just said, you might be wondering when does it make sense for you to use this. So I'm skimming through this fast because it's exact duplicate of what I did earlier for the model widget, and I just want to kind of install and show you how it looks. So this is my JavaScript. I copied it, finish, go back here, go to the settings in my WordPress, head and footer code. There you go. I'm going to replace this one only if I can select the whole thing. Okay, I replace that, save changes, go back and make sure you have activated right, the mistake I made. So I had not activated, it is activated now. So here I am on the home page and I just refreshed the home page. So I should see the page takeover in action here. There you go. So it's translucent, right? It's not completely transparent, it's translucent. It shows you can see what's in the background, but you basically you can't do much about it. That's how it comes up with. You may want to play with the color settings to kind of change the way it looks. Perhaps, I'm not sure. I mean, you can play with the color scheme, and what I'm talking about is this, like if you go back to the widget initial state, then you can change the color of the background, headline and description, and those are the things you can play with. Or I mean, you might have even you might go with the second option of the button and you can change the color scheme of the button also. So that's something to kind of consider testing. But as you can see, it kind of blankets the whole thing, but it's not like a complete, it's not opaque. It is translucent, so you can partially see, it's partially transparent. So it gives, I don't know how it's helpful. Probably people can see can get a sense of what's there on the page. But you can't take any action except for clicking either this button or closing the widget, right? Those are the only two options. So we'll talk a little more about when it makes sense for you to use this blanket page takeover widgets. So I'm at the half an hour mark, so I'm going to stop. Again, this is Samir with Chatbot Marketing Center. Thank you so much if you stopped by to watch this video. If you're catching this up on replay, type number 2, say hello, ask me your questions, give me your feedback. I'll be back tomorrow with one more video in this series, and we'll continue to talk about growth tools. So yeah, that is it for today. So thank you so much and have a wonderful rest of the day. Bye.